I stole it from Tyler.
It's a good one. Hello, Penn. Hello, Philadelphia. I am so excited to be here tonight with all of you, and especially with my terrific running mate, who will be an absolutely extraordinary vice president. You know, Tim is not all wrong. Among the many reasons that I was excited to ask him to run with me is he has never lost an election. That's an amazing record. Barack Obama lost an election. Bill Clinton lost an election. I lost elections. So he is. I loved it when he said he's my rabbit's foot. But it's great to be here, and I have to tell you, after that wonderful endorsement, the joint endorsement from the Wellesley paper and the Pennsylvanian, I said, wow, they are really smart at those two places, and I need to get there as soon as possible to say thank you. Thank you so much. I also want to thank a few other people. Senator Bob Casey was here earlier. Both Tim and I have had a chance to work with him. We look forward to doing that again. I want to thank Josh Shapiro, running for Pennsylvania Attorney General, State Representative Dwight Evans, who's here with us, and I especially want to thank someone who I am so excited about, and I hope that Philadelphia will send Katie McGinty on behalf of Pennsylvania to the United States Senate. I've known Katie for a long time. You may know, too, she's the daughter of a Philadelphia police officer, one of 10 children. Now, why is that relevant? Because you got to learn how to get along with people. And if you're one of 10, I think she'll do a pretty good job getting along with the other senators and getting things done for you. She has devoted her career to protecting working families, fighting for cleaner air, fighting for cleaner water and healthier neighborhoods. Now, let me say this about Katie, because that's the person that I hope you will get behind in this election. She will work hard for you. She will help to break through the gridlock and get results for you. And she's running against someone who refuses to stand up to Donald Trump. Think about it. Pat Toomey heard Donald Trump insult a grieving Gold Star family who lost their son in Iraq. He heard Donald Trump call Mexican immigrants rapists and criminals. He heard Donald Trump insult African Americans, POWs. He heard him engage in saying terrible things about women. He saw him spreading the lie that President Obama was not born in the United States. How much does he have to hear or to see if he doesn't have the courage to stand up against Donald Trump after all of this? then how will he stand up to special interests and powerful forces that are going to be trying to have their way in Washington? So it's important that all of you do everything you can in these last 17 days to make the case to send Katie McGinty to Washington. Now, as you heard from Tim, we had our third debate. And some people are just poor losers when they look at those three debates. I stood on the stage, if you add it all up, for 4.5 hours with Donald Trump. And I think I have a pretty good idea about how important it is to keep talking about the positive things we're going to do together. It's important to give you something to vote for, not just against. And it's important to lay out the policies that Tim and I are going to work on to make the economy work for everyone, not just those at the top, to make it possible for more young people to follow your dreams by giving you the chance to go as far as your hard work and talent will take you. Now, in that third debate, Donald Trump said something that no other candidate running on either side has ever said, and that is he refused to say he would respect the outcome of the election. Now, make no mistake, my friends, this poses a direct threat to our democracy. I've lost elections. You don't feel good the next day, but we've always had a peaceful transfer of power. That's the difference between democracy and dictatorship. That is the difference between the rule of law and the rule of strong men. And there is so much at stake in demonstrating unequivocally that the United States is bigger than Donald Trump. And the best way of doing that is voting, and we've got some really good signs about how people are feeling. More than 200 million Americans are now registered to vote. That is the largest number in the history of our country. And what's especially exciting is that more than 50 million young people have registered. This could truly be the election that young people turned out in larger numbers than ever to make their votes and voices heard. Hundreds of thousands of more voters are registered here in Pennsylvania than were registered in 2012. So thanks to everybody who registered and helped to get people registered. Now, what I think is happening is that people are coming together, Democrats, Republicans, and independents, all to reject hate and division that sets Americans against one another, because we believe we can have a more hopeful, unified, positive future. And it's going to be really important to make sure that people recognize, no matter what issue you care about, it is on the ballot. It may be Tim's and my names, but it really is about everything we care about, every issue that matters to you. And so we're going to keep working as hard as we can until the very end. And I appreciate those who are already for me and are working so hard. But I want to say a word to the people who aren't, because you know what? I want to be your president too, and I will work for you, and I will fight for you as well. I believe we can disagree without being disagreeable. I've seen that happen. And I know there are people who, for a variety of reasons, find themselves discouraged or frustrated or somehow feel like they're being left out of our economy, that our politics and our government doesn't work. Well, I believe that we've got to face up to these challenges. And part of what I want us to recognize is that we can't just be angry. Anger is not a plan. It does not lead to the kind of action and change that we need to make to be sure that every person in our country feels that they have a piece of the American dream. So when it comes to the economy, we are going to invest in you, in your families. We're going to build this economy from the middle out and the bottom up, because that will help everybody. My opponent has a very different idea, and I'll give him credit for his idea. He really believes if you cut trillions of dollars in taxes for the wealthy, millionaires and billionaires and corporations, that does somehow trickle down. Well, we've been down that road before, and it does not work. It will not work. We cannot see the possibilities of having our economy grow for everyone if we're only caring about the people on the very top. So I have a different approach. It's kind of similar to what both my husband and President Obama have believed, because if you try to invest in opportunities for everyone, that actually will produce more growth. And that is what Tim and I intend to do. And we're also going to be on the side of American workers, because the union movement in this country helped to build our middle class. And it is wrong to think that somehow suppressing wages, preventing people from having benefits that will make them feel secure, will somehow increase GDP. You heard Donald Trump. He stood on a debate stage in the Republican primary and said the problem in America was that wages were too high. And this is coming from someone who has done everything he can to avoid paying taxes, has not paid anything to support our military, our veterans, Pell Grants for students, our roads, education, health care, but instead claims that makes him smart. Well, honestly, I don't know how smart it is to lose $1 billion running a casino. I'm still trying to get my head around that. I thought the House always won. But, you know, he won't release his tax returns. He never intended to. And stop and ask yourself, wow, there must be something really, really bad in his tax returns, So we won't really know what he's ever, if anything, given to charity or how much money he's really worth. And we won't know how many business deals he has with foreign governments. And that sort of bothers me, because when we have 17 intelligence agencies, military and civilian alike, all saying that the Russians are behind all these hacks for the purpose of influencing our election, you got to ask yourself, why would he believe the Russians instead of our own intelligence forces? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make the biggest investment in new jobs since World War II. Infrastructure jobs, advanced manufacturing, technology, innovation, research, clean energy jobs. That one's especially important to us because some country is going to be the clean energy superpower of the 21st century. It'll probably be Germany, China, or us. Let's make it us. It is absolutely possible for us to do this. I am tired of all this talk that you hear from Trump and his supporters that really is always just denigrating America. Al, come on, give me a break. This country has created more economic opportunity for anybody in the history of the world. We just got to get it spun up again, get it moving again, creating entrepreneurial opportunities, particularly for young people. And I also believe strongly that our education system has to work for everybody, not just some of us. So let's start with universal pre-kindergarten so every kid has a chance to get ready for school. And let's make sure every child has a good school with good teachers no matter what zip code that child lives in. And let's do more to support teachers and provide them with the kind of support they need to do the most important kind of job there is. And let's be honest about the jobs that are going to be created in the next 20 to 30 to 40 years. We've got some big issues. I don't usually talk about this because, it's complicated and it's hard to explain in, a couple of minutes. But think about what technology is doing, the wonders of technology. Think about how many jobs, and not just low-skill jobs, but how many jobs could be replaced by technology, by robotics, by artificial intelligence. So we've got to start thinking right now about what we're going to do to make sure people are prepared and ready for the jobs that will be available. And then we've got to do everything possible to create those jobs and make them good, paying jobs that support a family. And I want to bring modern technical education back to high schools because a lot of young people deserve to have that kind of preparation. And our community colleges are going to be the real hub of this, connecting high schools, businesses, labor unions, universities all together. And we are going to have more apprenticeship programs, union and business apprenticeship programs for welders, machinists, health technicians, computer coders, so much more. And I'm going to do everything I can to get the cost of college down for everybody. Now, there's more we can do about public colleges and universities, but we're going to try to set the curve. After the primary, Bernie Sanders and I got together and we worked out a plan that will make it possible for any student in a family that makes less than $125,000 a year to go to public college tuition-free. And over that family income to go debt-free. So yes, you have to pay something, but not to go into debt. And we're going to help you pay back your debt. Pay it down. You should be able to pay it back as a percentage of your income, so you're never having to pay more than you can afford. And just because, you know, I love plans and I love details. And it was really kind of discouraging running against somebody who had neither. You know, I kept waiting. Let's have a discussion about how you make college affordable. But honestly, I never got that out of my opponent. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to HillaryClinton.com/calculator, and you can see how much you and your family could save under the plan that Tim and I are going to be promoting. So, my friends, there's so much at stake in this election. If you believe we should raise the national minimum wage so you don't live in poverty if you work full-time, you need to vote. If you think equal pay for women is long overdue to raise family incomes, you've got to get out and vote. If you believe that we should treat women and girls with dignity and respect in America, then you've got to get out and vote. If you believe that we have to stand up for our rights, we have to stand up for women's rights, we have to stand up to defend Planned Parenthood, we have to stand up, we have to defend marriage equality, we have to defend the LGBT community. We have to tackle systemic racism and make criminal justice reform a reality. We have to defend voting rights. And we have to take on the gun lobby and have common sense gun safety measures. And we have to work with our allies and partners around the world to stop the spread of terrorism, to defeat ISIS, to take on the threat of nuclear weapons. Then you've got to vote. There's no doubt in my mind that this is a crossroads election, and it's a crossroads election because there could not be two more different visions and agendas than between me and Donald Trump. And look, it's easy to get cynical about politics, but these matters are deeply personal to families, to our communities, our country, and the world. So for anybody who may be reconsidering their support for my opponent, I'll do my best in these next 17 days to reach out to you, to Democrats, Republicans, and independents, because our country needs every single person to put your energy, your talents, and your ambition to work to build the kind of stronger and fairer country that we're seeking. And I hope, you know, when people look back on this election, when everything really is on the line, I hope you and everyone you know will be able to say that you voted for a better America. And that's what I'm asking you tonight. Please go to iwillvote.com to find out where you're supposed to vote, where you can vote on November 8th. Go to hillaryclinton.com and sign up to volunteer. Take out your phone and text JOIN to 47246 to get involved. And do everything you can to reach out and talk to anyone you know, family members, friends, colleagues, who might be considering voting for Donald Trump. You know, it's not too late to stage an intervention. Friends, don't let friends vote for Trump. This has been a very unusual election. And it has been one that I think has probably caused as much anxiety and concern as any I've seen. You know, I've been privileged to know people who served as president, who ran for president. I had disagreements with them over policies, even principles, but I never doubted their fitness to serve. That's why this election imposes such a heavy responsibility on Tim and me, because Donald Trump is unqualified and unfit to be president and commander-in-chief of our country. But that judgment is not up to Tim and me. That judgment is up to all of you, every single one of you. And I think it's pretty obvious that young people like all of you who I am seeing in front of us tonight, this election matters to everybody, but it matters more to you, because it will set the direction of this country and, I believe, our world for decades to come. So if you care about climate change, you'd better vote. If you care about immigration reform, you'd better vote. If you care about ending mass incarceration, you'd better vote. If you care about whether the people of this country have a chance to make the most out of their lives because they get the education they need and the health care they deserve, and they have the barriers in front of them knocked down to pave their way, then you'd better vote, because everybody who can go forward brings the rest of us along. So think about the future we want, think about the future we can create, and remember, love trumps hate. Thank you.